Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spock with the second part of the weekly comic book roundup. So, we've already gone through this week's X-Men, Spider-Man, and Absolute Carnage books. It's time to move on to, well, Cosmic Marvel and, well, Miscellaneous Marvel. So, we'll get things started with Guardians of the Galaxy number 8. Where we left off with the Guardians, the bulk of the team had been captured by the Universal Church of Truth, who is now being led by none other than Star-Lord's father, Jason of Sparta, or of Spartoy. Also, it appears they have most of the cosmic-ish heroes captured. So the remaining Guardians have since gone to find Rocket and ask for his help in trying to rescue everyone else. But Rocket is looking not well, like, at all. So, we begin with Moonstone trying to get into Rocket's head, find out just what's happened to him, and we get a retelling of his origin. Turns out he was born on Half-World. As he puts it, a galactic insane asylum built by some kind of scientist who thought a planet full of crazies was a good idea. He was bred to be something of a service animal, something soft to help calm the patients down. He was assigned a patient named Kevix, a war vet with a mouth like a sailor and some bad dreams. And Kevix liked for Rocket to sit in his lap while he watched double war movies. And Rocket admits that, well, Kevix was good to him. But he's the last one, whoever it was. The scientists who founded Half-World left the planet when it got too rough for them, though. Put the care of the patients in the hands of the robotic staff. And the robots gave the job to the service animals when they couldn't handle mental patients either. Rocket claims that he'll never know what was actually done to him because they altered his DNA. But what he does know is that they altered his DNA somehow, evolved him into something. He always suspected it was maybe like how the Kree made the Inhumans. But, in all honesty, it doesn't matter. He looks back and he didn't miss being soft. And we get kind of, some flashbacks, his pre-Guardian days and his, joining up with what would become the Guardians in Annihilation Conquest, fighting Kraven the Hunter. And he had a family. People were good to him. But yeah, it was that after they got done with Infinity Wars. It was just when it was just Groot, Star-Lord, and Rocket. Rocket started to not feel so well, and he realized that maybe and started to realize that what was done to him, made Rocket was coming undone. And so he got into one of the escape pods on the ship, and he left. Groot wasn't happy about that. Rocket tries to play off that he doesn't care. and explains to Rocket that Gamora was guarding you. It's like, hey, Gamora was guarding you, knowing that Rocket wanted to die, but she didn't want any of his enemies killing him first. She planned to bury Rocket. And he explained that he was hiding because he didn't want anyone to see him the way he is. He didn't want to be remembered the way he is now. He wanted to be remembered as Rocket Raccoon. But he talks. But yeah, turns out Rocket's got basically a mech on hand to utilize because he can't do anything as he is currently. Going back to the Universal Church of Truth's flagship temple, cathedral, also it turns out that also from what's happened previously, the Universal Church of Truth attacked the Nova Corps. And yeah, we see all the various cosmic heroes in stasis, powering their life drives, powering the ship's life drives. Cosmo and Lockjaw have a conversation a telepathic conversation in Dog. And Jason lets Peter know what's going on. They've got another Adam Warlock cocoon, but so it's like, okay, no. This is what the church always does. They find an Adam Warlock cocoon. They try to resurrect him from some mysterious crap, and then they get beaten. It's always the same. And, but Jason says, no, things are different. This time you gotta have faith. One, it's not Adam that they're resurrecting in the cocoon. And two, it's not just one. So, yeah. That is where the issue comes to its close. Moving on to Death's Head number 2. Where we left off here, Death's Head had been, teleported to Earth into a dumpster in New York, where a punk band found him, kind of just disassembled him a bit, and made him their amp. Which, okay, it's a little, yeah. Well, Desmond came back online at one of their shows, which just so happened to be attended by former members of the Young Avengers, Wiccan, and Hulkling. So they took, after stopping him, and turning him off, or deactivating for a little bit, they took him back home with them, and Wiccan kind of Googled the extra-dimensional versions of himself, or extra-dimensional histories of himself, or extra-dimensional histories to come of himself. So, yeah, looked into his possible futures. I should just put it that way. Where another Death's Head model appeared. Well, Death's Head kind of came back online. There was some fighting, and oh, hey, turns out that extra dimensional version of Death's Head that other Death's Head that he saw in his visions, he's been hiding in the box spring of his and Hulkling's bed. So we open up with some robot gladiator action. Death's Head kicking ass and taking names. Being watched these are being watched several months earlier by Dr. Evelyn Necker, the future creator of Death's Head 5. And she's a current fan of Death's Head 1. So she's working on an upgrade to Death's Head. In New York now, Wiccan, Hulkling, Death's Head, and the other Death's Head are talking things over. And Wiccan explains where he got the other Death's Head, whom he simply refers to as V. Came from a lab upstate that was made by Dr. Necker, who, of course, Death's Head knows. But then the other Death's Head comes online, and well, we get ourselves a fight between classic Death's Head and new Death's Head. Classic Death's Head does explain that he made an upgrade of himself before, never a downgrade. Though it seems that the new Death's Head has a more Terran vernacular. It actually refers to Death's Head as dude. But yeah, the two duke it out. It's a very one-sided fight. But Hulkling and Wiccan at least try to break it up. Well, it turns out, though, that they've since gotten help in the form of Kate Bishop, who flew out there on a red-eye flight. Most likely because her Avengers are, not... Well, they were involved, sort of, in War of the Realms, thanks to Spirit Spider-Man. She threatens Death's Head with an EMP arrow, and, well, yeah. In part because she's cranky. But yeah, we get another fight between the two Death's Heads. And it turns out that the new Death's Head has picked up a few things from the original. But the original makes a point. Why not? Why don't they just go to Dr. Necker and confront her themselves? And so Wiccan teleports the two Death's Heads, Hulkling and Hawkeye, to Project Pegasus. They kick down the door and find what appear to be various attempts at remaking Death's Head. Dr. Necker pops up, apparently saying that she thought that they might make their way there to Project Pegasus eventually. And she's met the little one, Of course, she's quite pleased to see the original Death's Head, who he probably wasn't expecting to see. And then she shows a picture of what he was probably expecting, which is actually her from an alternate reality. Apparently, she digs her hair in the alternate reality. She decides that she's the upgrade, though, the alternate version. So yeah, and that is where the issue comes to its close. Moving on to Marvel Comics Presents number 8. Once again, we've got our same formula. We got another portion of the Wolverine story, The Vigil. And this time, we've got ourselves a Spider-Woman story and a White Fox story as well. So, The Vigil. Where we left off, Logan tracked down his daughter, Rian, and they said, hey, look, let's stop waiting for this guy and, go find him go attack him where he lives when he's, not here on Earth causing problems for us, and be done with it. And we pick up right at the end there. Wolverine and Rian, they argue a bit, mainly coming up with the fact, and so she opens a portal, but Wolverine does convince her to open up a portal to hell, and so he gets taken by a demon, who explains that him being in hell has actually kind of made things interesting, as many of them, as the lower level demon puts it, many of the more powerful members of Hell's aristocracy are jockeying over who gets first crack at you. But Rian follows Wolverine in and takes care of the demon and frees Logan. So now they have to wade through demons, and it's explained that while getting into hell is easy, getting out is hard. And while they're making their way through the demons, they find Rian's mother, shackled to what appears to be a wheel, and her stomach slashed open. And that is where the story comes to its end. Next up, we've got Spider-Woman, the spider caught in the web. So, Jessica Drew is checking stuff out online as she, on the story Champion, or on the page Champion Chatter, there's a story saying that, the Spider-Woman's secret identity has been revealed. Well, there's a video accompanying the article, so Jessica watches it, and, well, it's not her. It's her costume, but it's not her. So she calls Ben Urich, and, basically makes arrangements for her kid to be looked after. They go find the girl from the video, find out what's up, but, well, Hydra is taking a shot. There's a Hydra sharpshooter that's taking a shot at her. A running gag is that since the college student in the video is wearing the classic Spider-Woman costume, no one believes that Jessica's actually Spider-Woman because it's not the same costume. But while Spider-Woman's fighting the Hydra agent Well, the college student runs away. And into the arms of another Spider-Woman, Charlotte Winter. Her and the actual Spider-Woman duke it out, and Diane, college student, tries to run, but gets hit by a bus. And with a story popping up saying, after the death of Empire State University student Diane Jenkins, a rash of apparent copycats have surfaced. Next up, we've got ourselves Legendary, featuring White Fox. So we begin in Hanam Towers in Seoul. It's too early in the morning. Most of this story is actually narrated by White Fox. She explains that she's always been a morning person. She has a cut on her arm, and she goes through her morning ritual, shower. And we see a bit of a fight between her and the living monolith, which was where she ended up getting the cut. At the National Intelligence Service headquarters, she goes about her day, but the cut on her arm bleeds through the bandage, is bleeding through the bandages. She has a brief dream of her mother, or her grandmother, and then arranges to go see a doctor. The doctor explains to her that the cut on her arm is too late for stitches and infected. And it turns out her grandmother, appearing as a kumiho, offered her a fox marble, which could help her heal. So, White Fox goes to Kyoto. Goes to a tracking down one of various priceless Korean artifacts that was pillaged and scattered across the continents after decades of colonial rule. Makes her way in after talking with a raccoon. Makes her way into the museum, fights a few goblin statues. They're playful goblins, though, so nothing too terrible. Gets the fox marble, the fox marble. We'll leave it at that. And goes to what was apparently karaoke night for the National Intelligence Service. Well, she arrives as White Fox, not as Ami, and so she takes advantage of the fact that one of her coworkers at the National Intelligence Service is very much attracted to her, and the fox marble, it turns out, allows a kumiho to absorb human energy. The fastest way is through a kiss. So, she kisses June, which, after taking the fox marble, absorbs some of his life energy, and he passes out. And she's healed up. And then she promptly leaves. That is where the issue ends. And last book of the week, History of the Marvel Universe, issue 2. So, where we left off here, at the end of things, with the heat death of the universe imminent, Franklin Richards and Galactus discuss the history of the universe that is dying, as Galactus has been there since day one. And we got from the beginning of the universe all the way to the late 1800s and the birth of the man who would become Wolverine. And so we get the beginnings of the relationship between Mystique and Destiny, long-standing members of the Brotherhood of Mutants, and yes, romantic relationship. We also get the first man on the wall after a band of human soldiers with strange high-tech weapons repel a Martian invasion. One of the survivors, Edmund Stafford, dedicated his life to defending the Earth. Referring to himself as the man on the wall, he would pass the role to others in the years to come. Next up comes World War I. Union Jack, Crimson Cavaliers, Chris Steele, as well as Silver Squire, the Phantom Eagle, Freedom's 5, fought the Germans together with the occasional assist from Iron Fist Orson Randall. Then there was the beginnings of experiments made on America's first super soldier, John Steele, including experiments done by conscripted Dr. Abraham Erskine. Also, the relationship that would lead to the birth of Namor, the Submariner, the birth of Steve Rogers, and the birth of Eric Brooks, the man who would become Blade. Then there's Herbert Wyndham, who trying to follow in the footsteps of Nathaniel Essex, and establishing a lab in Transia on Wundagore Mountain, calling himself the High Evolutionary, and creating a race of evolved animals known as the New Men. The short-lived Confederates of the Curious, which included, amongst others, Orson Randall, the Mystery Men, Dominic Fortune making his presence known in California, the Angel, Dr. Tom Holloway, appearing, taking on the cause of heroism after being inspired by a patient of his, the Two Gun Kid. And little by little, more. Then we have the birth of the original Human Torch, as well as two of the Ancient One's students, Baron Carl Mordo and Anthony, as well as Dr. Anthony Ludgate. Anthony Ludgate, I don't know if he's actually a doctor or not. Then the arrival of Prince Namor to the surface world in his first few fights with the Human Torch, as well as the Human Torch's alliance with a young man named Tom Raymond, who would be nicknamed Toro and become the Human Torch's sidekick. Then, of course, World War II. The invaders facing off against the Red Skull and other threats from the Reich. Sergeant Fury's Howling Commandos, who, while they did liberate towns and concentration camps alike, sadly did not make it to the one that held a young mutant named Max Eisenhart. Perhaps if they had, it helped guide young Max. Maybe things would have gone differently. Isaiah Bradley is also brought up with the continuation of the Super Soldier program. the supposed deaths of Captain America and Bucky at the hands of Baron Heinrich Zemo. Then the continuation, including Spirit of 76 and the Patriot, trying to continue on the legacy of Captain America, while Albert Malik donned the mask of the Red Skull. Also, apparently, this is actually I did not know, but in Marvel continuity, it was the Human Torch of the Golden Age that killed Adolf Hitler. We also have the founding of Hydra, the changing of the invaders and the invaders transitioning into the All Winners Squad, the various other groups joining together to become the V Battalion. Also, the beginnings of the Cold War, and also the Winter Soldier. The ends of various Golden Age heroes, as well as Nick Fury's appointment as Man on the Wall. The founding of the Agents of Atlas. Those other groups, including the Monster Hunters, the First Line, the High Evolutionary, others doing what they can to hold off an attack by the Demon Chthon at Wundagore Mountain, but not before Chthon could mark an infant girl named Wanda Maximoff as his future vessel. And Nick Fury bringing together Kraven the Hunter, Sabretooth, Silver Sable, and Dominic Fortune to become the Avengers Initiative in the 50s. There's actually a miniseries about them. It's kind of neat. Groot's first appearance on Earth. Stephen Strange becoming Sorcerer Supreme. James Howlett becoming, first working with Team X for the Weapon Plus project, then becoming part of Weapon X, and then escaping the program. The deaths of CIA operatives Richard and Mary Parker shortly after the birth of their son. The formation of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the formation of the Pride. The war in Shan Kong, which would end up affecting Marines James Rhodes and Frank Castle, as well as Army Air Force pilot Ben Grimm, and military consultant Reed Richards. The exile of Thor from Asgard. And finally, the issue ends with Reed Richards constructing constructing a rocket and go with the idea of studying a cosmic radiation storm. Then we've got various annotations as to where basically where are all the various points in here were first brought up. And that is where the issue ends. The dawn of the age of the Marvel Age of Heroes. That's it for this week's Comic Book Roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be doing a review of Ready or Not tomorrow, as well as we got a Building the Team video coming up in the next few days. And depending on how the situation evolves, we might be doing a video on the Spider-Man situation. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.